Welcome. This is the Bold Business Podcast. Your business has many directions it can travel. The one true direction of your company creates the journey for you to move toward a new, exciting level. We call this the red direction. In today's program, we delve into one idea. The idea will support you as you work on ever-present situations, including how to stay competitive in a changing market, how to break through the business plateau, and how to anticipate the changing expectations of your stakeholders. Jess Duell is your guide. Jess brings you a 20-year track record of business excellence where strategy and operations overlap. Your path comes from consistently working from this special place, your unique true north. Now, here's Jess.
Welcome everybody for joining us today. I'm with Dean Barta, and you want to know something? I always enjoy talking to him because we don't script anything out ahead of time. We just have an intention, and our intention today is gratitude. And not only gratitude, but gratitude in business, gratitude for what we're learning, gratitude for what we have, maybe even a little bit of gratitude for what we don't have. We'll see, right?
Sure.
I mean, there's so many things that we can have going on. And so as we're getting started, that's our intention. Thank you for being here with me today, Dean. Next is, hello, and who are you?
Well, hello, and I am.
Right.
One, always a pleasure, Jess, to join you on these. So I'm Dean Barta. My business is a Barta Business Group. And what we find is that small business owners are good at their craft, but not good at their financial or operations back of the house. So my group of accounting professionals help small business owners make better decisions in the bookkeeping to fractional CFO space. And so business owners can love what they're doing again in their business. And we're located in Denver, Colorado. And we're, always here to help, and we are accounting guides for entrepreneurs who want to dive into the adventure of business.
Ooh, dive into the adventure of business. That fits with your background and everything very well. I have to tell you, so stick around, everybody. You're going to hear stories about the outside world and death-defying feats and the biggest challenges of all, which sometimes are right here between our heads.
That's 6 inches. It's like the hardest 6 inches in the world.
Totally and completely. And so, that's interesting. And I'm Jess Duell. I host the Bold Business Podcast, and I do operational and strategic consulting, which shows up in a lot of different ways, which a little bit, Dean and I, we were briefly discussing right before we came online and had that hot mic time, which is that, yes, there's an element of coaching in every consulting because people require a self-look and a reflection to move forward and hold that mirror up. Yet at the same point in time, to be able to go beyond that and to understand elements of business and how they show up and how do you do your work and what does your culture and what do your values mean for the way that you approach decision making, looking for opportunities and assessing things is well beyond coaching, even though it might start or have elements that we touch somewhere between this 6 inches. And that's what I do. And that's what I do.
Is that all, Jess? Come on.
No, it's not. Don't get me started. Don't quit. Take the mic back.
Okay.
Well, so we're in 2021. No, actually, look at that. I even put us in the future. I so want this to be over. So I'm looking ahead to 2021, and I'm thinking about all of the things that I learned and that I worked with my clients as they were learning in 2020. And so I'm curious from you, Dean, what are some of those learnings for you?
Wow. Yeah. 2020 has been a year of many learnings. And I've been through, in business, when I was a GM of an adventure travel company, we went through 9/11 in the travel industry. Now, that was more of a 5-month blip, not, a multiple month. COVID-19 is a whole different animal. But I think it really prepared, and I really was thankful for that experience because it prepared me more for, the last, 9 months and help prepare, I'm using that knowledge to prepare my clients. And, early on, it was, the process with me was just getting business owners through the grief curve, because it was, it's shocking, and some business owners, it was, experiencing downturns they've never seen before. Others, experiencing more business than they have before. And, so managing that, but just, really, there was a lot of discussions like, just breathe, and allowing them to get through, their grief period, and be that steady force for them. And just like any good friend or an associate that you might work with is like, having that person that you can always rely, that's that steady, a steady person. And so what I think, the business owners have learned is, I think pivot is an overused term. It's in 2020, I really like to use the word flexibility, because you can have a rigid way of doing things, but then pivot and still have a rigid way of doing things. Whereas I think a lot of business owners have learned how to be more flexible and say, hey, this didn't work, but let's see what possibilities are out there and what we can. And they found a lot of success in flexing to something that, like, wow, we didn't consider that, but that's really still within the scope of, our mission of our company. And so there's, a couple things right there.
Isn't that interesting? I know I'm with you on pivot. And some people use that word in my presence just to see the reaction on my face. Now, sometimes pivots are really necessary, and they provide us such an important look at things. However, to your point, a lot of the time we pivot too soon. And so that's one of the things I've also noticed for businesses, is that it was too soon, too fast, or too far. And so in the effort to show up in a certain place, we went a little too far. We went a little too far and have to come back to that center somewhere. And then opportunities have passed, and then the spark is gone, or then we're behind even more and fighting even more fires, and can't get to that place where meeting, in your term, flexibility, meeting yourself there, meeting your team there, meeting the company there makes a big difference. And, I'm thinking about my personal learnings for Red Direction. We didn't change a whole lot of what we were doing. And in fact, I've heard some people talking about, this is the end of the year and we shouldn't be doing anything new. Well, when am I one to follow the typical train of thought? I'm not. And we are doing something new. However, it came from a grand experiment. And the current grand experiment was our podcast and how we monetized it. And I may have mentioned this a little bit before so we monetized this podcast and we put this great thing in front of it. And it turned out we were asking people to become fans of me. Well, I don't need any fans. I love y'all. Don't get me wrong. I love y'all. But I wasn't in it to get money from you because I wanted to have a fan. I wanted to make it something that you could invest in yourself to become better at what you do. And so I realized the way we had monetized was the exact wrong message, and created this huge rift of what we thought we were saying and what we were actually saying. And so we spent the last few months closing that gap. And so now in December, the launch of the end, let's see what else we can squeeze into this craziness, is going to be the same program, better positioned, listening to people who are already part of the program, saying, we love you, and of course we're going to do this. And now we're better leaders too. And who knew? So I'm like, oh.
You are listening to the Bold Business Podcast. We will return to the show soon. But first, I want to take a moment and give you a peek into what additional services and solutions you could access to fast-track your business. This program was created to develop your capacity on demand by sharing insights, tips, as well as lessons learned by business leaders, unedited and uncut. And we don't just stop there. There are 3 additional benefits to help you reach your growth goals. You'll also have unlimited access to 1. Hearing tips and insights to develop yourself as a leader to get better results more often. 2. experiencing viewpoints from many different business leaders. 3. Receiving frameworks to build core competencies and to more effectively focus on business growth and leadership. Altogether, the Fast Track Your Business program will allow you to face uncertainty anytime, anywhere. You can access what will become your most versatile tool in your toolkit by going to fasttrackyourbusinesstoday.com. Now, back to Jess.
Flexibility, to your point, is what we all need. Capacity to bounce, our co-friend, that's kind of funny, our colleague and friend, Eric, right?
Mhm.
Eric, he talks about own your bounce, and I'm all about resilience too. So that's kind of a big thing as well. Oh man, so the grand experiment it's just continuing. So now we have a new grand experiment that we're starting with, and we're going to get some feedback, and we're going to put it out into the world to ensure, okay, I have to show you this, to ensure that we get there. This is a different grand experiment. Do you see this? Can you see this on my sleeve? Okay.
Yeah.
It is, they are cedar pieces. So I smell really good because my son and I are making sachets. So family, close your ears, because everybody in my family's getting a sachet with their initial, their last name initial on the front of it. And this is what I'm doing in every 5-minute thing I have, taking this tiny spoon to put these tiny flakes into a tiny hole so that these sachets have a smell. If that's not dedication.
Man, that's great. That's a well thought out gift, and making gifts, I think, is a very popular gift item this year.
Are you? I mean, for just whatever, are you in that? Because that's a different kind
my
of
wife
gift.
and I are making, we're making gifts, and we're consumers just as much as anyone else, but when it comes to this time period, we're really into, and I'm a big, not to be a spoiler for anybody who receives gifts out there, but I bake. So
Ooh, yeah.
but I like making things, so it's how I combat computer desk work, is to actually work with my hands. So that kind of thing. And one of the points you made is about businesses whipsawing, or basically what I call driving from ditch to ditch, and how that's just way too much. And I saw that with businesses as well, that just overcorrecting way too much. And in most corrections, and maybe you've seen this with some of the people you've worked with, is sometimes it's about a 10% adjustment, and can make a 180-degree difference, but it's only a 10% adjustment. And that's just overcorrecting. Icy roads, we're in that season right now. It's like, hey, if you overcorrect, then you're doing one of these.
That's right. Measure twice, cut once.
Exactly.
I totally can't let this go. The spoon is almost too small for the hole, and it's the tiniest spoon that I have, which is about as big as my fingernail here on my index finger. So note to self, make a bigger hole.
Good point. Good point.
And now the thing is, can I remember that going forward? And to your point with the overcorrection, if you did a 180-degree turn, but only got a 10% change somewhere in a positive way, that it's almost the same thing. Didn't measure twice.
Right.
Didn't really think it through. Didn't really have an outside set of eyes to go, instead of we're all in this together, let's try anything, pausing and saying, well, what else could we do here? How can we show up to this? Is there something that we're missing? And are we responding to react? Or are we reacting to respond, and missing both?
Well, and your example of your podcast is a good one too, is when the first thing is you started,
right?
You got started, and then you correct, but you didn't correct 180. You just said, hey, well, wait a minute, this is not going exactly the way we wanted it to go, but we correct it. And this is the important point I pull out of it, is you didn't wait till the first of the year to do that. Let's do it now. I mean, I challenge anybody who might be listening to this, ask your personal trainer that, should you start your workout program now, or the 1st of December or first of January.
Mhm.
And I would say I'd like to meet the personal trainer that would say, no, wait till January 1.
That's right. Yeah.
You do it now for several reasons. Is why not? you
Why
know,
not? Well,
it-
and it's exactly there's because is there ever a perfect time? I mean, I was
oh,
talking to one of my clients Friday, and they were saying to me, well, everything keeps coming up and getting in the way. And my response is, well, what are your priorities really? And do these align with them?
right,
To your point, because if we don't start now, if we're not taking action when action presents itself, regardless of what tradition tells us, regardless of what past patterns tell us, if we haven't learned anything in 2020, past patterns don't count right now. And did they ever? It's my question.
right. Well,
Did we just get
and
comfortable?
might be a good question. Let's say we rolled back the clock one
Right.
year. Let's say we knew COVID-19 was going to happen and coronavirus was going to happen in March. What would we have done now?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be worth, mega dollars, right? From people. That what would we do now that would have an effect, 6 months from now?
And I tell you what, that is the craziest thing to consider because I don't know, we wouldn't have done anything different. We would have ended up in the same place, but I do know a
Mhm.
lot of people that would have done something
Yeah,
different. Wow.
yeah.
We ended
So,
up, well, right? We ended up needing more employees than we thought. We contracted too much. And
mhm.
now we're not serving anybody well. Or what's another one? Do you have one offhand? I actually really wanted to pivot my business, but the business I'm in kept calling me back. Is another
Yeah.
one. Isn't that
Uh,
interesting?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think, if depends on your business. So let's say we're looking in that crystal ball and we're set back a year prior, it might be like, well, yeah, I'm going to, crank up my staff and do all that. And maybe, you would have, let's say you knew that a pandemic was coming, but you didn't know what form it was in.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so, that's what's interesting about the whole adventure of business is that it's perpetually changing. And tying in that flexibility, but it's to, hey, I'm going to make the best decisions that I have right now, or as far as I can, foresee it. And with the, whether it's consciously or not, building in how can we flex if you know things
Right.
stop in a certain way, or what stops us. And being able to flex to that, I think, is so important. And that's why let's talk about health, for instance.
Yeah.
Why do we stay in shape? Do we, is it to look good? Is it, or I'll use it in my case, is I stay in shape so I can enjoy the outdoors at a level that I want to enjoy them, not like, man, this really sucks. If I want to go, ski all day, or hike all day, or mountain bike, whatever.
Right.
And so I can go out there and enjoy it at a level. So taking that is like, okay, what would you do now as a business owner so you can enjoy, being a business owner isn't about, oh God, this is just complete drudgery. if you're in it for that, then yeah, you may be in the wrong business, or the focus in your business may be completely wrong. But because
Right.
there's got to be at least something that the business is giving back to you, you know, and those we could probably list, or as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's an important thing to remember, especially when it gets hard. When the rubber meets the road, the
um,
things that we think give us joy may not be the things that actually give us joy. We've dressed it up somehow.
mhm,
And the opposite is also true. Oh, when the rubber meets the road, I can really see that I'm lacking, and it's because I think I don't like it. And am I willing to show up and go, is it really that I don't like it? Is it that I don't have the skill? Is it that I don't understand how to approach it. And when we can do that, we can really get to the silver lining, whatever that is. I mean, that comes back to just, it's a personal SWOT analysis. I'm a big strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats person in
Mm-hmm.
terms of how do we show up? How does that show up in the business? How do we make decisions from that? Not because it has to be the end all be all, but because it is the most dynamic living document that we can have, and recognized where we were in the past, where we are right now, and then make sure that we're going in the future that we want, in the direction to get to the future we want, versus knowing the future we want and being on a direction to a different location, different end
Right.
destination.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a believer that for small business owners, you design the business around your lifestyle instead of you have to design your lifestyle around the business. And that can be any business. I don't care if you're a plumber or you sell coffee or whatever it might be. And certainly there's a lot of commitment and work that goes involved in being a business owner and operating a team and leading all of that. But it can't be lost in items that are not enriching the founder or the management team, and as well as employees, all top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a believer in it being drudgery.
Well, that means you're in the wrong business. I
Yeah.
mean, hello. I mean, if the clarity of the mission is there, and
Mhm.
everybody's stepping up to show up to the mission, even during the hard times, the difficult times, the times that seem less fun, we know we're working on the mission, and we can have a difficult time and still be fulfilled. And I think people miss that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw out, as far as things being thankful for, and this is, may meet with resistance, but I think COVID-19, we understand all the bad things that have happened. I think there's a lot of positive in businesses that have occurred because of this. Like this is the big time when it comes to this is, Great Depression, World War II kind of level stuff that a person could be thankful for. I mean, I'm thankful for all both the positive and the negative people I've met in my life, and all the positive and the negative things that happened in my life, because I learned each time.
Mhm.
And I think in my experience working with some business owners, they really grew up a lot in the last 9 months, whether they're new entrepreneurs or existing businesses that we have got to do things differently. And it's fun for me to see that growth, that maturation of that as a business owner. And they're looking at their businesses differently. They're actually working on their business instead of in their business. So yeah, I'll put COVID-19 up there. Might not be on a lot of people's list, but
We'll be back to Jess and the Bold Business Podcast shortly. You can fast track your business with on-demand information curated to help you build a resilient business that achieves its goals. But why? Why is it so important that you take the steps to invest in yourself and your leadership team with subscriptions to this program? We all need to save time and get relevant and trustworthy information when we want it. This program will reduce your overwhelm and increase your opportunity with high-quality information on demand. This straightforward approach ensures this program answers the most important question: what do you need to know to fast-track your business? We answer this question by providing you a vast set of resources to help you work through complex challenges with exclusive articles, videos, podcasts, and access to Ask Jess your business questions. You receive several benefits above and beyond what is available for free with a monthly subscription. To find out more, visit fasttrackyourbusinesstoday.com. Let's get back to the show.
There's this thing, there's this thing that you stick in the pot and you stir. I don't know what you're stirring with, but that stirring action that happened, that we all need that. And most of the time, we have to look for that through outside advisors like ourselves. And
Absolutely.
what this has allowed us to do is to shake things up to find out, oh, how do we really show up to these things? How can we look at this differently? And to me, I'm all about being the pot stirrer, not continuously to be crazy and detrimental or slow things down. But I'm telling you what, every once in a while, we need a gigantic pot stir so that we can take the time to go, wow, I didn't realize we were actually comfortable there.
Well, right.
Wow, that's slowing down our business.
Yeah. What business owner or what management team has 2020 vision to themselves? They don't.
Just hindsight.
Yeah, hindsight. Yeah,
hindsight's 2020. Just hindsight.
which means they can't do. Okay, well, that's all the past. They can't do anything about it.
Right.
So yeah, bringing in a person, and you've brought this up before. You're the mirror that holds up. No, this is what's really happening. From my professional perspective, and I share that with you because you brought me on to help you move forward and get past this blind spot that you have in your business. And so, yeah, that's, a lot of business owners probably, the business owners we've worked with, yeah, I would say they would probably, we interviewed them. They say, we're thankful for Jess and Dean and their perspective. And really in many ways, their no nonsense approach to like, hey, here's what's really going on. How can we be that asset to move you past that obstacle or move you forward to where you want to go, especially in these kind of times?
Yeah. So I would agree with that. And for anybody listening to take stock of gratitude, just check in with your mission. Because I know every single time I'm down or out or I'm overwhelmed, I just check in with my mission. Not only my mission at Red Direction, but my mission in this world. And both of those things together, like I said, even when it's not easy and even when I don't like it, it still provides fulfillment, because if it were always easy, so this is great. I'm going to quote my friend Mike Finnessy. Mike Finnessy, you'll love this, and that is, if I never ate at Taco Bell, I would not understand how amazing my filet mignon really is. And right? And I'm thinking about that, and I love this. It is so important, because if we only live in one space, we need a pot stirring more than a company that feels like it might be stuck. It's the people in the roles and the relationship and how that's happening, what that dynamic is that's going to be causing the opportunity for contraction or expansion. So to everything that you were saying.
Well, right, because I'm going to use your steak analogy for a second.
Right? Please do. And take it again. And I apologize to everybody who doesn't eat beef or any animal. Put in your own, the thing that you really don't, the thing that you're like, okay, fine, I guess I can eat this, compared to the, ooh, this makes my mouth water and I know how great this is. We can adapt it to any diet.
Yeah. So let's say you're a successful business person and your filet mignon is Nebraska, filet mignon. Great, right? Until you experience Kobe beef.
Right.
And then there's always something else that is to taste and experience, and there's always that cutting edge. And because as business owners, we have to be in change, because if we're not changing, we're dying by automatically. We're not staying steady or no, that's not growth, that's death. That's just it's a calm way of dying instead of a dramatic way of dying. So
that's true. It's true. So we have to be willing to see the other things and understand how they're helping us evolve and develop. Yep. And so, I actually asked my newsletter crew, the people who have subscribed to my newsletter, to fill out a survey. And so it's still a little early. So at some point in time, we're going to compile all the results that we're going to get, and we're going to share from that. Now, and I said the newsletter crew, because that's where I start everything, is on my newsletter. Is, hey, you get the sneak peek of this. Hey, what about that? Hey, we love you, we love you, we love you. Because at Red Direction, we send out a lot of love to a lot of people in a lot of forms, like this right here. Dean, you get to be part of one of our love notes, and so I'm prescribing love on your behalf. You have this as being a that same kind of thing. And so I will probably post the link to the survey in the comments to this, both on YouTube and on LinkedIn, so that people can join in and see, because we want to make sure that we recognize exactly where we're at. Because when we can accept 2020 was not what we thought, and maybe we're growing. I have clients that are blowing things out of the water, and they're expanding into new markets, and they're doing all of this. I have clients that went out of business, and I have clients in between. And I'm guessing you've got similar experiences with your client base, right? And so when we take a look at what that is all the way around, and we can accept exactly where we are. Wow, this didn't impact me at all, or it gave me the kickstart that I needed. And other people, it's like, oh, I was a little late to the party because I decided whatever I decided. And guess what? It's okay. So in 2021, if somebody had a goal for 2020 that they missed, and then their company is going into 2021 and they're going to try and keep that same goal, the 2021 goal, regardless of what happened this year, we're setting ourselves up for failure. And I'd rather steep in gratitude and say, let's accept exactly where we are. Because when we have that acceptance and we can be grateful for what we've done and exactly where we're at, then we can figure out, well, we know what our mission is. We know how we do our business. Let's look at those opportunities and make some strategic decisions, and then hold ourselves accountable to that.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point about I call it recycling the goal,
Yes.
because, none of us in our own physical body or our businesses, we're not the same as we were 9 months ago. Okay. We're just not. So, there's the gratitude of the present and making those strategic decisions. Okay, here's we are now, not where we thought we wanted to be, or we wish we would, we were, but here's where we're at. And so I think what you're saying too, look at it with a fresh perspective. And there's many times looking at a fresh perspective is in 90-day increments, and breaking that down. I mean, there's a lot of, studies out there about, when you break down annual goals, you've got to break them down into, quarterly goals, monthly, and, down to weekly goals, if that's what it takes. And that's where the accountability piece comes from as well, and it's not only just accountability, it's about focus and keeping people in that present, because you're like, what the goal is, what your mission is, but it's like, what do we do today? Because today is the only thing we have control over. We don't know what, people are going to fly, planes into buildings, or, there's a pandemic. We just don't know, but we do have, control of what's happening in this moment. And so that's where the gratitude piece is like, hey, we do have this moment. We just do the best we can.
It's time to take a brief break from our show. Fast Track Your Business will improve your business results. This high-value program is an unbeatable value to make it easy for you to act now. With your subscription, you have access to Ask Jess Your Business questions and exclusive resources on key leadership topics. Subscribe now. Visit fasttrackyourbusinesstoday.com and know that you are moving forward in the right direction. And now, let's return to the Bold Business Podcast.
There is untapped power. We'll do the best we can.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to be the best. We can strive to be the best. Let's do the best with what we can, with what we have right now. And I think that's a very empowering statement, and how we can show up to the world, actually.
Well, it's honestly, it's where peacefulness lies. Okay. Centeredness lies. And given a choice, if where do you make better decisions when you're from a peaceful, centered place or from, a fear-based, crazy state?
Oh, I know people who work in both.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure I've got people who will argue, well, I work best under pressure and all this, and I'm like,
Well,
we have to
until
sit
you
down and talk
become,
about that as far as the qualify.
yeah,
Yes, if you've
you're
got
right.
a deadline in about focus and all that, yes. But if you're in that constant state all the time, it's physically draining, it's mentally draining, not only on you, but everyone around you who might not be in that. Oh,
It's
I work best under pressure.
it's unsustainable. To
Oh,
always be
right,
under pressure is unsustainable.
right.
To your point, you are absolutely positively correct. Oh, I'm telling you, I think that that's the key piece. And so, are you taking time off right now? Like
Oh,
in,
yeah.
in the US,
Mhm,
we're in
mhm.
Thanksgiving week. 2 days from now is Turkey Day. And whether you have turkey or not or something else, it's Thanksgiving, and good, bad, or otherwise, it happens to be a tradition here. And so, are you like turning off your computer, Dean?
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah, my wife and I yeah, we do that. We have no technology days, and here's what I get out of that too. One, I'm control over my time, and I haven't seen, by the way, this Social Dilemma, but that's on my list to
I
see.
have.
Oh yeah, I think you might even suggest it to me. So hey,
Probably.
and but
Yeah.
there's power to that, but I come up with so many ideas when I have that let's say clutter, mental clutter going on via, smartphones and all that. And so that time that, taking say 4 days off to just reconnect, rest, whatever, recreate, whatever, we plan on doing, I can come out of the gates hard. I am so excited to get going. I'm like literally like a horse pulling on reins to go.
Yeah.
So, so, and that's what I think has been lost over a while now, for people who work on their vacation and all this other stuff. And I've been a compartmentalized guy for a while. Like I would tell when I was a GM, I would tell people, I said, unless someone dies or something burns down, do not call me. Do not contact me. Everything's okay. You guys are set up to
Mhm.
which, is another thing with business owners is you don't have a fully empowered business if your staff can't take care of the problems when you're gone,
That's
you
exactly
know.
right.
So
That's exactly right. Yeah, yeah. And we are too. I know I am. Tomorrow I have a couple of meetings in the morning, and they snuck in. There's how my boundary was. Let's just take Wednesday through Sunday off, because I will tell you,
Mhm.
since our personal vacation plans and other stuff has all been in this huge uproar this whole year, and everything we've tried has met with weirdness. And so I was like, I'll do that. And somebody goes, well, I really want to talk to you this week. And so I said, how early can you meet? So and so I'm like, I have a hard stop at 10:30 tomorrow. I am done. But that's okay, because it allows me to go to my 6 a.m. accountability. It allows me to do some meditation. It allows me to do a little bit of planning that I want to do, because
Mhm.
on Monday morning, to your point, um, I do I call it a present retreat. It's equivalent of like a CEO time,
Oh
where it's
yeah.
4 hours of uninterrupted time where I'm working on my business. Well, guess what? My brain is going to be exploding because of all the things I am not doing in the business or on the business for 4 days, that I get to show up, and it's all going to appear there. And in fact, um, I have a special sticky note pad. It's just this one, and I can only fill up that many stickies with ideas. But I'm not going to put them on my computer. I'm going to write them on sticky notes and leave them on my desk for myself. Little love notes for Monday morning when
Mhm.
I am working on that. And I think that that's an important piece, because you said earlier in the conversation, it's important to work on your business, and people are starting to recognize that. And it's so true. And it's a hard thing to learn what on your business means. And I'm glad that we are having these conversations, because we get to give people a little bit of a glimpse into that, and some of the kinds of questions to start asking, to go, not what do I do daily, but where are we going? What is happening right now that caused this problem, versus, well, how did we miss it? And is something else coming down the pipeline that could be like this for us? And how do we mitigate that? That's SWOT. I'm telling you, Dean, I'm telling you, people underestimate the value of a strengths, opportunities, weaknesses document.
No, it's very powerful. And, any CEO, founder of a company, I give them, I said, you have one job description: further the vision of the company.
Yep.
That's it. You may have task stuff, but really, if that's not what you're focused on day in, day out, and to your point, you've mentioned it before, is the reconnecting with the mission, and all that. And, that time off is a good time to reconnect with the mission if you're not connected with it on a daily or weekly basis. Because that's why you're the leader. That's why you're moving it forward, and you're having your team, implement those visions as well. And so that CEO time, like Monday morning, which is a great time, by the way. It's when I utilize that time as well. This is, you got to have that time, and compartmentalizing, and that time, and in focusing. And I had a past client. She's a painter, and we were talking about finances. She didn't really like working with her, financials and all that kind of stuff. In fact, she said, like, bookkeeping is my personal hell. That when I say not like, I meant that not like. Yeah. And I said, well, hey, why don't you approach your bookkeeping the way you would approach a painting? I said, are you checking your emails while you're working on a painting? Are you taking phone calls while you're working on a painting? She goes, no. She goes, it's like I block out the entire world and I do that.
Yep.
I said, okay, use that when you're marketing. Use that when you're working on your finances, reviewing, your business plan. Take that time, and you got to just kind of block out the world, and compartmentalize.
Protected time. And to your point, if you can't take 4 hours, how can you ever take 4 days, let alone a month, 4 weeks? And that's kind of the thing that, and I think that that's so powerful. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to work on my business every single day, because it is hard to switch from the forest to the trees and back to the forest and back to the trees. It's hard. So by doing it once a week, there's like this cadence that allows us to show up and go, oh, it's time. I'm ready to look at the forest. I'm ready to see what's going on. And then when you're in it, because you've got your backpack repacked, you've got everything you need, and you can actually make quick decisions in the moment that don't have to have a lot of consideration, because that bigger cadence is in place.
Well, and I'll use one of the simplest examples is, do you get better sleep when you get 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep, or 8 hours, or whatever your block of time? Or do you get better sleep if you're up every 2 hours and thinking about things? And well, maybe I needed to work on this, or you jump on your computer and then no, that's all. That's life right there on a day-to-day basis. Compartmentalization is like, and it's a good place for any business owner to start. And you talk to Arianna Huffington. She's a big advocate of sleep and business owners and all that. Is take a look at your sleep.
First things first. I'm telling you, it's the big things. Big things. Yeah. All right. We, believe it or not, it's been 40 minutes. I mean, time
you gotta be kidding me.
We are here. I am not kidding you. I know. And I'm just like, seriously? How crazy is that? So, in gratitude, in summary, anything else that hasn't been said that you want to make sure gets said today that's on your heart or mind or gut?
Well, I'm in gratitude with, meeting you, Jess, here several months ago, and really developing, a great friendship, and I love doing these. These are great. And, I just, I'm in what actually I want to actually paraphrase a quote from Thoreau. And I had to put it up here. And it's I've actually he said, I'm grateful for what I am and have. My thanksgiving is perpetual. No run on my bank can drain it, for my wealth is not possession, but enjoyment.
That's
So,
beautiful. Here, I've got one. I am thankful for all of my blessings, and may my blessings allow other people to have more blessing.
that's beautiful.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's my intention for everybody out there. All right.
Perfect.
Thanks, everybody. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Bold Business Podcast. If you have learned something from this show that will help you in your business right now, consider what additional impact you can get by subscribing to the Fast Track Your Business program. You owe it to your business to seek out new ways to achieve more while building a resilient and profitable business. Subscribe now. Visit fasttrackyourbusinesstoday.com. Special thanks to the Scott Treatment for technical production.